Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Today is all about daily reflections. We have worked our way through the first couple elements of the Thrive Mindset. We talked about being thankful and having habits that move you forward. And then today is R, and R is for reflection. You know, Jeff and I, we talked about being reflective once a year. We talked about our trip in the very first podcast, that our triple R trip, R being reflective, recalibrating, and re-energizing trip. But this is going to be more about a daily reflection. I'm sure if you're like me, you've read several books or watched YouTube videos about highly successful people and the habits that they have, right? And we often hear about, action-oriented habits and lifestyle behaviors that push them forward and make them who they are. But one of the things we don't hear too much about, even though they all will say they do it, is daily reflection. And I believe that a daily practice of self-reflection strengthens your self-awareness and enables you to make better choices. Now, we've talked about an annual reflection and what a catalyst that has been in our lives, but a daily reflection is just as important. In fact, in many ways, it's more important to keep you moving forward, to keep you in that thriving mindset. But it totally requires this honesty and this deep dive into who you are. And when I say honesty, I just mean that so many of us unintentionally lie to ourselves to make ourselves feel better, right? Or we put on this face or this persona of this super desirable, super successful person in order to make ourselves feel better, to make ourselves look more attractive to someone else, to attract that next client or that customer, whatever it is. But we aren't truly honest. Instead, we are pretending. So a daily reflection really requires that honesty. And look, it's super scary, right? It is scary to look at yourself and to make judgments. It is scary to admit that you have failed at things. It is scary to admit that you need to work on things. No one feels good admitting to themselves where they're struggling, but that is what's going to help you grow. And the more you practice a daily reflection habit, the more you are going to learn and the more you're going to be effective and the faster you're going to improve. So let's talk about what daily reflection looks like in creating a habit. I would say that the best thing for you to do is to pick the same time every day. It's just, again, habits, when you do them consistently and you work them into your day at a regular time, they become easier and easier to do. For me, I personally like the morning. Jeff, on the other hand, he is much more like laying in bed reflecting about his day. But I'm a journaler and he's more internal about that kind of stuff. So do whatever works for you. I mean, I choose the morning because that's the time that I sit and journal. That's the time that I plan my day. That's the time that I do my gratitude journal. It's just the right time for me, but do it when it's right for you. I think there's many ways to self-reflect. I think if you're more like Jeff, maybe it's you start out by just dedicating a couple minutes a day to look back and say, okay, what did I do today? What didn't I do today? And what can I do better? That's kind of how he approaches it. And he does that in order to clear his mind before he goes to sleep, because otherwise he's wound up thinking about all the things that he didn't accomplish that he wanted to do, and it frustrates him. But if he can self-reflect and go, okay, I did this, I didn't do this, I'll do that tomorrow, then he can close his eyes and go to sleep, and that works for him. But like I said, I'm total journaler, right? So actually, I created reflection journals because I was doing this and just blank pieces of paper every day. And it works for me, and maybe it'll work for you. But basically, there's 6 parts of my self-reflection. And I basing this all on being positive, right? And not feeling bad about the things so that my energy is still kept high, so that I am still moving forward in a positive manner. I like to start it out with positivity before I go into what I need to work on. So the first thing I think about or reflect on is the best thing that happened to me today. The very best thing. And it could be anything from I had a great cup of coffee to I got asked to be a guest on a podcast. I mean, it could be any range of things. It could even be, I made progress on the project I'm working on, or I gained a new client, or I helped somebody get into contract on their new home. Whatever it is for you, but whatever that best thing is, something that just excites you and you think, that was fantastic. The next thing I do is I list out 5 things that I'm proud of from today. So maybe they aren't necessarily things I accomplished, but they are moments during the day that I can look back and say, yeah, that was good. I'm really happy with that. Maybe it's I checked some things off my checklist. Maybe I spent time with my kid. Maybe I closed a house. All kinds of maybes, right? But anything that I can feel good about and feel proud about. And it wasn't my biggest moment, but they are the littler things, right? The things that similar to gratitude that I feel grateful for. I was proud that it happened. I can say I accomplished it, and that makes me proud. There's this massive satisfaction to me with checking off things on a checklist. I don't know how you all are, but there's this feeling of either putting a check mark or scratching it off that just brings me this massive satisfaction. So writing things down that I'm saying I'm proud of, or that I did well, or that I accomplished, gives me that same feeling, keeps that energy for me super high still. Now here's the next part, and it's not as easy because it is self-reflecting on what I didn't do so well. And this is not the time to get down and bring your energy down. What it is this time to be truly honest with yourself and ask, what didn't I do so well? Every day, every single day, there are things that we don't do so well. I can tell you that for me, I have two daily things that I struggle with. I easily can get distracted, and I hate to even admit that, right? It's a little embarrassing. I mean, it's frustrating, but I can. Like if I'm working on something I'm not extremely passionate about, or it's just working down my to-do list, well, I can easily squirrel over here and go, oh, that's more important. I need to take care of that, and pause what I'm doing instead of just finishing the one task I'm on, which would maybe take me 10 minutes. And getting distracted is definitely something that I would have to write down that I didn't do so well, or because I didn't avoid it. I didn't stay on task. I didn't get through things in a more efficient manner, right? The other struggle I have on a daily basis, and some weeks it's not there and other weeks it is exercise. I know how good it makes me feel. I know how good it is for me, mentally, physically, emotionally. I know all of those things. I'm a huge proponent of it, but kind of like the distraction, I can find reasons and excuses to not fit it into my day. I'm not a morning person. I'm a morning person in the sense that I get up early, but I am not the most energetic or wanting to talk or wanting to go down to our gym and work out. I don't like it, even though I know it's the best time of day for me to do it, because it's the time of day that once I have journaled and reflected and done my gratitude and worked through all my morning things, my morning routine, I know that is the moment that I will have time. Because if I say to myself, oh, I think I'll do it around 2, maybe 3, or I'll do it before I cook dinner, well, there's always an excuse. I've always got too many other things that have shown up during the day that I had to handle, or I've run out of energy because I've been going so hard and it just sounds terrible. My point is that exercise is one of those for me that I have to honestly look at myself and say, okay, Carrie, didn't do that so well. Some days I do it great. Some days I'm totally on track. But then there are the other ones. I have to really self-reflect and say, why? Why didn't I make that a priority? Why wasn't it as important to me? Why am I failing at this consistently? Because here's the thing, if it is a priority to me, if it is important to me, then I need to figure out why I didn't do that so well and fix whatever that is. So in regards to being distracted, it's something that I have to say to myself that even when I'm doing a task I cannot stand, for example, I hate dealing with our finances. Not that there's a struggle with the money and paying things and that kind of finance issue, but I hate recording all the entries into QuickBooks and being on top of it for my taxes and all of that. It comes easy to me. I can do it well. I can do it quickly, but to sit down and do it is the most mundane, boring thing I can think of to do. So when it's on my to-do list, I get distracted because I don't want to do it. So that's my self-reflection, right? I have to say, okay, just because I don't want to do something doesn't mean I don't have to do it or don't need to do it. So how can I do that better tomorrow? And that's actually the next part of what I journal. I figure out of those things that I didn't do well today, how I'm going to do them better tomorrow. And if there's things that are holding me back from accomplishing those tasks or from being the best or from bettering myself, well, then I self-reflect on what it is about myself that I need to change. So going back to the idea that exercise is a battle I have, right? When I want to talk about how am I going to do that better tomorrow, well, then I have to really have a conversation with myself. And when I mean have a conversation with myself, I mean actually have a conversation with myself. Sometimes it's writing, but a lot of times it's actually just this conversation in my head. And I know that sounds silly, but I talk to myself all the time. But I have to have this conversation of, okay, Carrie, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to have the energy to do things? Do you want to live a long life and be healthy? And the answer to all those is yes. Okay, so then I have to say, well, why? Why do you not prioritize it then? Why do you let there be excuses? And that is a hard one, right? Because if you're saying to yourself, I want to do this, I know I should do this, it's a priority, then why do you let yourself not do it? In this case, with self-reflection, I have to admit that maybe it's not as big of a priority to me as I think or want it to be. And that's hard to admit. Again, it's embarrassing, right? Because I want it to be. Look, these conversations are not easy. They are not easy at all. I told you in the beginning, it's really hard to be honest, even with yourself at times, but they are what is going to keep you moving forward. This action, this task, this being self-reflective on a daily basis is what is going to move you closer to your dreams, which is the whole point, right? So it's okay to notice and acknowledge where you're messing up. But now move forward. Now write down what you're going to do tomorrow that's going to be better. What's going to keep you moving towards your dream. How you're going to do it. So for me with exercise, it's okay. I am going to reprioritize that in my life. I keep saying it. Now I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until it's no longer something that's holding me back. It's no longer something on my, I'm not doing it so well. The next two things that I focus on when I'm journaling and daily reflection is to look at how I took care of myself today. Because just like I was saying, I struggle with the exercising part. I feel like, mentally taking care of yourself, physically taking care of yourself, eating well, drinking plenty of water, these are all incredibly important. And we hear it all the time, right? You've got to take care of yourself. But if I don't daily reflect and look back and go, okay, did I drink enough water today? Did I get up and walk around, or was I just sitting at my computer? Did I emotionally take a break? I mean, all these things. I think it's super important to look at that and make sure you are taking care of yourself. And then the last thing that I reflect on is what I learned, loved, and launched, which at some point we will talk about the 3 L's in my life. But these are again, positives that I can look back on and say, I learned. So I had a growth mindset. I learned something today. I loved on my business. I loved on my clients. I loved on the things that I'm already doing well. And I launched, so I worked towards achieving those goals and dreams that I'm working towards. Now, I know that not everyone journals like I do. I know that some of you do this more in your head or inside or internally, or you talk it out, or like I said, Jeff does it before he goes to bed in his own way. No matter how you do it, I would just suggest that on a daily basis, you check in with yourself on how you're feeling and how do you want to feel and what do you need to do to better and to move forward towards what you're wanting to feel and accomplish. Maybe even look at what your intention was for the day. Are you focused on that goal that you're headed towards this year? Then also look at what you're avoiding and getting distracted from and why. Why are you doing that? When you are able to reflect on a daily basis, you are able to grow and change more quickly. You are able to make those corrections and adjustments on a daily basis versus waiting till the end of the year, right? Not to say that an annual reflection is not amazing, but again, a daily is going to just keep you moving forward. And that's what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to move towards our dreams and goals. We are manifesting the life of our dreams. And to do that, you have to reflect and you have to reevaluate every day and adjust, even if it's just a little bit. My hope for you all is that you do start some sort of daily reflection practice. I believe it's important. I know it will help you. I know that you all are working towards amazing things, and this is a step that's going to help you get there. I hope that my ideas and suggestions today were helpful, and I look forward to sharing with you more about my morning routines, my habits, and the things that I believe in, and more about the Thrive mindset. And until then, just know that I believe in you, and you can manifest the life of your dreams.